Hello, I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. We're sponsored by RSVP, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, and that's a part of Mature Services. What we like to do on our shows is introduce you to interesting people and organizations and activities in our viewing area. And today we have a very special guest. She is the NEA's, that's the National Education Association's Teacher of the Year. And we'll be back with her right after this message from our sponsor.
RSVP of Summit County has been making a difference in our community since 1972. RSVP volunteers are increasing the quality of life by participating in programs and organizations that provide important services to the community. RSVP matches personal interests and skills with opportunities to serve. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597, extension 166.
Welcome back. Our guest today is the NEA's Teacher of the Year, and that is Deborah McDonald. Deb, it's so great to have you with us today.
I'm so excited to be here.
Well, it's wonderful that we're talking about a national association, the NEA, the National Educators Association, and you are their Teacher of the Year. So you are considered the best teacher in the whole country.
Well, I'm not sure if that's the case, but I'm very honored to be in this position and just to represent all the excellent teachers who are out there every day working so hard for their students.
It's that kind of education that really is going to make a difference in our society and in our culture. And you really grew up with those values from our area. I know you graduated from Rittman High School, and you've lived in Wadsworth for many years. Your kids went to the Wadsworth School. But you didn't really start out to be a teacher, did you?
It took me a while to get there. I think I've wanted to be a teacher since I was 8 years old and sitting in a classroom, third grade classroom. But it took me a while to get there. I have always worked with children, and I've always known the value of working with children and how important it is to get children on the right path and to help them learn and help them be good citizens. So my mother instilled that in me. She was the Girl Scout leader and the volunteer for the PTA. And so I just kind of followed in her footsteps. I actually was a student in a child care program, the program that I teach. I actually worked with young children and then worked in a child care center for a while. One of the things that I did before I began teaching is I was a Girl Scout leader. I started that before I started teaching, but actually continued that as I became a teacher. But yes, I didn't start that path. In fact, I didn't start college until I was 28 years old and started teaching when I was 34.
My gosh, so you didn't just, excuse me, go to high school and then go to college and get a degree in education?
No, I took a different route there, and I think it was the right route for me. I worked right after school. I worked in a child care center, got married, and have two wonderful children, and began raising them, and then decided that I wanted to start working again. Again, I started working with children in a center, working in a preschool, and it was at that time that I realized that I needed more. And I wanted to go to school. So with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, I packed up my book bag and started off to college. It was quite a daunting experience at times, but very well worth it, and so glad I did it, and feel like I got a lot out of college because of the experiences that I had, and I was paying for my own college at that point, so I knew I had to get the most out of my money.
Well, you were really taking the hard road to get where you are today.
Sometimes those roads are the most meaningful, and when you know that there is a final destination that you're really and you're very focused on that, I think that it's so meaningful, and I think that it makes the experience worthwhile. And the tough times are part of that experience.
Do you think that the experience that you've had in your journey from being a student in grade school, thinking about becoming a teacher, having to divert your path, for a number of reasons. I think, didn't your family have a business in the area?
Yes, yes. My father was a businessman, and he has Napa Auto Parts stores, which is still part of our family business. Not actually in this community. His first store was in Cuyahoga Falls, and we still have that there. Mm-hmm. And we have one in Copley also now. But he was a very hard-working man. My mother started her own business. She was a caterer, and she and a partner worked for years. She was a real estate agent, and she was always working, although she was really a stay-at-home mom, but she was a working stay-at-home mom, if there is such a thing. So she was able to, they were entrepreneurs, and they just really believed in hard work. Neither of them had a college education, but were very focused on their goals, and that really helped me to see that if there's something that I want, whether there's a will, there's a way, and that was their motto, and that's my motto.
Well, back when they were starting their businesses, anyone who knows anything about entrepreneurship or business startups know just how risky it is to start up a business.
Right.
And I would think that something like an auto parts and a catering company, I'll bet you didn't have a lot of money to just throw around.
No, but they always made sure we were comfortable, and I never felt that I was lacking anything. I grew up very lucky and had lots of experiences, and my mother was a very active volunteer, so I was a part of all of those pieces. That she was very involved in her community. She lived in Rittman and still does, and if you mention my mother's name, almost everyone knows who she is because she's very involved in her community and inspired that in me, which is one of the reasons that I really was comfortable being in that as a Girl Scout leader, and actually ran the Girl Scout day camps here for quite a few years in the Wadsworth community.
Well, all this background experience that you have, your education, your family, the work experience, your own volunteer experience, how do you feel that comes together now in educating students to become teachers?
Well, I think what's important is education is not just about learning facts. It is not just about getting a grade, but it's really helping students become citizens and important members of their community. So that's what I try to instill in my students. We learn about working with young children. We learn about teaching, and we learn about how to help children grow, but we also learn the important part about giving back to the community. I think my work ethic is very apparent to my high school students, and so they often tell me that I inspire them, or that that they want to emulate me, and that they're proud of the work that I do, and so they also want to give back to their community, and it's something that I try to do often.
Where are you teaching now?
So I teach at the Wayne County Schools Career Center. The program that I teach is early childhood education, something that probably not a lot of people are familiar with. The program is designed to help students become teachers themselves. So we have a laboratory preschool. What that means is I have a class in the morning and the class in the afternoon of preschoolers who come into our building. My high school students, who are 11th and 12th graders, work with those children. They are the teachers in the preschool. They learn how to prepare lesson plans. They learn how to manage children, and they work directly with those children. My seniors then also go out into the community and work. So 2 days a week they work in our laboratory preschool with our 3-year-olds, and 2 days a week they go out to the community and work with infants and toddlers in child care centers. They work with children who have special needs in preschool programs. They work in elementary school classrooms, and then they get an additional preschool experience. They might work with Head Start children or a Montessori classroom. By the time they're done, they've worked with about 125 different children, and they get the opportunity to figure out which career path they want to take. Some go right into working in child care centers. Many go on to college. I have graduates who are teachers themselves in schools around the community.
What a wonderful opportunity for high school students to get that kind of exposure and training and mentoring, really. You're a teacher and a mentor to these students.
I hope so. I like to think that they are not just listening to what I say, but watching what I do. I model for them both in their classroom and also in the preschool classroom to hopefully help them learn teaching strategies that work for me. I've been teaching for 22 years now, and so you learn some things during that time, and you get better at your craft, because it truly is, teaching is an art. It is not just something that people are born into. You have to have some natural ability, but you also have to learn to craft it and become skilled at it.
Well, what are the things that you have learned over the years? For instance, what surprised you most? When you went into teaching, I'm sure you had an idea of what teaching was all about. Were there things that you learned on the job that surprised you?
I think it's every day's a surprise. So even when I think I have this all figured out and I've been here for 22 years, something new comes along. Things change in education. The way we teach, the more we learn about how the brain works and how we take in information, we have to adjust our teaching to that. When I first was a teacher, and when I remember as a student myself, teachers came in and they taught to the whole class. That's not the way we teach anymore. We really teach to individual needs. We have to be very aware that not everyone learns the same way. I think the other piece of that is that as a student, I remember thinking that it was my job to learn. As a teacher, I feel that it's my job to make sure students are learning. So the responsibility shifts to me, which means that I have to constantly look at my practice, find out what the barriers are. Why is the student not learning? What is the barrier? How can we get around it? So that's probably the biggest surprise. Again, society has changed, so we have a lot of students who have a lot more, at least visible problems than when I was a student myself. Perhaps they were there, but we weren't aware of them. So they come from difficult lives sometimes, and that definitely affects their learning. And so we have to be aware of the whole child when we're teaching, not just the cognitive skills that they're learning, but their physical, their intellectual, their emotional, or social development are also very important.
Well, you have really set exceptionally high goals for yourself. How in the world do you accomplish it?
I think I've been blessed with a lot of energy. I credit that to my parents. And I have a lot of passion, and that helps too. But I'm not perfect, and many times I feel, many times I think to myself, I wasn't the teacher of the year today. And so I strive to be better each day. And I have had good mentors. I got my start at Wadsworth, even though I don't teach in the community, I got my start here. I did my student teaching with Don Menser, a teacher who's been in the community for 4 years, and Joe Turbetto, I believe is retired now. And I watched them and watched what they could do in their classrooms, and I've brought that into my own classrooms. I've been around great people. I surround myself. I'm a constant learner. I never feel that I've mastered this craft. It is a continual learning process.
Well, as a continual learning process, there are many levels that I'm sure you achieve along the road. But that really applies to the award as well. And I'm sorry, I have to look this up. This has got to be one of the longest names of an award. So I'm going to pull up my little sheet here. You are a Horace Mann Award winner, and you are the NEA Member Benefits Award for Teaching Excellence.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, the first award that happened for me that just really changed my life was in 2014 when I was named Ohio's Teacher of the Year. And that award led to this award. So that award is through the Department of Education. And with the Department of Education, I started working in some roles that advocate for teachers. And that really led me to the Ohio Education Association, who nominated me for this award in 2016. The award has 3 levels. The first level is which one of the long names that wasn't even mentioned is the California Casualty Award. So teachers from every state are are given this award, and they're nominated from their state. And one of the interesting parts of this is that we have the opportunity in about 10 days, or a little more than that, 20 days, we are leaving for Peru. This group of folks are leaving for Peru, and we're going to spend 10 days there looking at and talking to educators, looking at their educational system. Peru is struggling in their education system right now because they have so many remote areas that they can't get the technology. Sometimes students can't get transportation there. So we're going into Peru and just having conversations with teachers there. So that's the first part of the award. The second part of the award was the Horace Mann Awardee. Of those 42 educators, I believe, who received the California Casualty Award, they picked 5 of us to be a Horace Mann Awardee. So they looked at our applications, and our applications we outlined our teaching strategies along with the ways that we advocate for students and teachers, and they decided that the 5 of us needed to receive this award. So I was very blessed and very humbled by that award. Horace Mann gives each of those awardees $10,000, something that, as you know, teachers aren't rich, so that was a very nice little bonus. They also flew us to DC, where we interviewed with a panel of our peers and panel from the NEA Foundation, and we presented a lesson, which was a little intimidating to present a lesson to adults, but I got to show them what happens in my classroom. That was in August. The final award wasn't announced till February. In the meantime, they had some fun things going on. They came in and they came into my classroom and they videotaped my students and talked to my students and talked to colleagues and parents and so forth. But then we finally flew to DC once again, and this time we were at the NEA Foundation Gala, which is kind of like the red carpet for teachers. And we got to dress up and feel very important, and they had entertainment, and they recognized each of the California Casualty Awardees. They highlighted the Horace Mann Awardees, and then they announced this final award, which was just overwhelming. And I couldn't imagine that I would be selected, but what an honor it was.
Well, we actually have the video of you being announced as the winner,
okay,
and your acceptance speech. So let's take a look at that right now.
2016 NEA Member Benefits Award for Teaching Excellence. Who that goes to, and this is the most exciting part of my whole year. The winner is from the Ohio Education Association, Deborah McDonald.
This night is so hard to imagine. When I was 8 years old, I sat in Mrs. George's classroom, and she inspired me to be a teacher. But my path wasn't direct. I came from a hardworking family who had their own business, and college wasn't part of our conversation. So I enrolled in a career tech program. Back then it was called vocational. And I learned about childcare. And I immediately went into that field to work with young children because I knew that they were important, and I knew that I could be important in their lives. My path changed as I got married and had been married now for, goodness, I forget how many years, 33? And I had 2 wonderful children. And then I my teacher called me and said, we need some help in our preschool. So back at that vocational school, I went to be an aide. And those wonderful teachers, Anne Marie Bradford, Charlene Sandman, they told me it was time. I needed to go to college. And I did. And I came back and I've been teaching in that very classroom that I was a student. I've been teaching there for 22 years. And every day has been an adventure, working with these young children and these high school students that I have the privilege of trying to inspire. And I watch them grow and become teachers themselves. And it's the best feeling in the world, because I believe there's no more noble profession than being a teacher. I'm deeply honored to stand here before you with some of the most amazing people I've ever had the opportunity to meet. My global fellows, you're awesome. I can't wait to spend time with you. The rest of you that I've had the opportunity to spend time with, it's just wonderful. And I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity. And I do want to thank a few people. First of all, the Horace Mann. Thank you for honoring the Horace Mann awardees and giving us the opportunity to showcase what we do in our classroom. California Casualty, you've opened up so many opportunities for so many teachers. Thank you. Promethean, the NEA membership benefits, thank you for what you do for us. The NEA Foundation, Harriet and Susan, Janice, and all the great people that we've met. They're fabulous. I want to take time to thank my Ohio Education Association, OH. They rock. They are amazing, and I'm so thankful to be a part of them. Back at the Career Center for which I work, I have great people here supporting me, Andrew, and Susie, thank you for coming along. And I have to give a shout out to some important people, Allison and Kimberly and Trina and Pam. I couldn't be here without you, so thank you. And one last group that's so important to me, and my husband, Gary, who puts up with all of this that I do. Thank you, Gary. My beautiful daughter, Shavana, if you haven't met her husband, Dave, who brought them here, my son and Krista at home, and the two most beautiful grandbabies in the world at home, and my mother, who taught me that the best feeling that you can ever have is when you serve others. So thank you so much, everyone, and it's been a fabulous night.
Congratulations.
Deborah, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And your acceptance speech was so motivating and so inspiring. And I think that's what you do. You've said that teaching is a noble profession. Do you share that with other teachers?
I think that teachers are a very humble lot, and so sometimes they are afraid to really showcase their work. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to let people know what's happening in our classroom, the struggles that we have, the successes that we have, the work that we do is important to see, because it has changed. It's changed since you and I have been in school. And it's hard work, and it is self-sacrificing work, and it's very important work. So yes, I do believe it's noble.
And teaching really is something that everyone does. You certainly are a supreme educator. The many teachers out there, I'm sure there are many teachers that you feel are as deserving of the award that you've received. But we are all teachers in one way or another, aren't we?
Oh, I was a teacher long before I got my degree, absolutely. And I think that no matter if you are in an office or if you are working in the community or you're raising your children, that there's someone watching you and there's someone who is looking up to you, and we have to be aware of that all the time, and everyone can make an impact by teaching others.
What is the brightest note that you find in teaching?
I'm so lucky that I work with 2 different ages of children, and so I get to see the excitement of preschoolers as they enter school for the first time, and I get to watch my seniors as they are ready to take on the world. And that, just saying it brings me chills, because I'm a very lucky lady, and that is an exciting place to be.
Well, again, Deborah, congratulations on being the NEA's Teacher of the Year, and many, many more years of inspiring students, especially in our community here in our general area. So much good luck and success for you down the road as well. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you everyone for joining us today for our show. Remember that our sponsor is Mature Services, and especially their RSVP Retired Senior Volunteer Program. Have a wonderful day.
Since 1971, RSVP has been matching volunteers' talents to community needs. RSVP is affiliated with the Corporation for National and Community Service, a national organization that supports service and volunteering through grant-funded projects. Volunteers organize neighborhood watch programs, tutor children, renovate homes, plant community gardens, assist victims of natural disasters, and serve their communities in many other ways. RSVP offers maximum flexibility and choice to its volunteers as it matches the personal interests and skills of Americans 55 and older with opportunities to serve their communities. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597, extension 166.